Make your next move with American Express Business Platinum. You'll get 5 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. Plus, enjoy access to the American Express Global Lounge Collection. And with the welcome offer of 150,000 points, your business can soar to all new heights. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum. Amex Business Platinum. Built for business by American Express.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. Sometimes the most painful part of getting sick is the getting better part. Waiting on hold for an appointment, sitting in crowded waiting rooms, standing in line at the pharmacy, that's painful. Amazon One Medical and Amazon Pharmacy remove those painful parts of getting better with things like 24/7 virtual visits and prescriptions delivered to your door. Thanks to Amazon Pharmacy and Amazon One Medical, healthcare just got less painful.
I think all the stuff you're saying about like the fact that there's sex in it and certain aspects where they kind of subvert the plot is fun. But I just, why do they love each other? Why?
They don't love each other. That's what's so great about it. They literally just wanted to fuck.
Welcome one, welcome all. This is episode 69 of the Flixwatcher podcast. Today we're joined by Eleanor.
Hello.
And Elizabeth.
Howdy.
And Helen.
Hello.
As always. And we're going to talk about Ibiza.
Come find us on Twitter at FlixWatcherPod. Visit the website flixwatcher.tv for full listings, and don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes and leave us an awesome review.
And as we always say, guys, all the films were available on Netflix at the time of recording. There was going to be bad language, there's going to be spoilers, and we hope you enjoy it.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Flixwatcher Podcast. Today, the guests in the studio are Eleanor and Elizabeth. If you would like to say hello to our listeners and tell us a little bit where we might be able to hear you online.
My name's Elizabeth Sankey. I sing in a band called Summercamp, and I'm currently working on my first feature documentary, which is a film essay about romantic comedies.
Ooh. So is Ibiza going to feature on there?
It's most definitely not.
Is this your review already?
Not because it's bad, but just because I have enough romantic comedies that feature white women falling in love with white men in a straight scenario.
Ah, that's true. And it has to be rom-coms. It can't just be roms.
No, basically, romantic comedy is defined as a film about romance that has a happy ending.
So you're using the Shakespearean term of comedy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm so impressed you knew that. Most people just don't know what romantic comedies are. So this film would count, yeah. But I'm not going to do romance that ends badly, basically.
Okay. Because, Moonlight ends quite happily, but I wouldn't say that's a comedy.
That was in my film up until today. I've just taken it out.
Oh, shit. Put it back in.
I would love to put it back in, but I feel there's better examples.
Okay.
For the purpose. This is getting too detailed.
No, it's fine.
We've had discussions before about why does it always have to be a rom-com and not just the rom?
Yeah.
Right.
Or it could be the rom with moments of com, but not where the focus is the driving is the comedy.
That's right, yeah.
And the love story kind of goes around that.
Because we had God's Own Country was one episode we reviewed.
That's
recently.
in my film.
So you've made it through.
Yeah.
That's come through, but not Moonlight.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess, but yeah, because I was really struggling to think about from the recent, Moonlight, God's Own Country is going to be Destination.
Oh dear. It's not a romantic night. And then we decided that the Linklater trilogy was in there.
Before Sunrise, Sunset.
I think that would count.
That's more rom than com.
Yeah, I guess the only thing is the first one doesn't end up with them together. I would say the second one is absolutely a rom-com because
definitely a com.
Definitely a rom-com.
But the first one we were saying that's definitely just a rom.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was struggling because I think the point was the rom films seem to be driven just by gay romances. It seemed, and that was my argument. I was trying to think of like a heterosexual one that had been not like saying there's any bad thing, but it's just saying it's quite interesting that the best romantic films were from a homosexual point of view, which were Love Moonlight and Love God's Own Country, but I just couldn't think of that. It was always like When Harry Met Sally was the pinnacle of a rom, yeah. Hope that's in there.
Absolutely.
Good.
It is. It's interesting that there's a lot of gay romantic comedies, but they aren't in the mainstream. They aren't kind of, and I think Moonlight is such a good example of a film that does have a lot. Well, and the problem with it being a romantic comedy is that it doesn't have the beats of the romantic comedy, so it doesn't have the declaration of love per se.
Yeah.
It doesn't really have a meet cute, whereas God's Own Country has all of those things. So that's why I would include that rather than Moonlight. But I think Moonlight is an incredible film, and there should be more films made like that.
Yeah.
Have you got Kissing Jessica Stein in it?
Yes, I do, Ellie. I love that film.
From the golden era.
Yeah.
Well, let's compare to more rom-coms as we go through this one. Eleanor, where do you come from?
Oh, sure. Well, I make radio documentaries.
Yeah.
And
Award-winning, should we say?
Sure. I always
All
introduce
the
them as
awards.
everyone winning all the awards.
Yeah. 2 years in a row you've won both gold. You've won gold at both
for
podcast awards.
For a podcast that I make called Shortcuts.
Yeah.
And in my spare time, I make a podcast where I subtitle great audio documentaries that are made in languages other than English. That's called Radio Atlas.
And that confused me the first time. I was like, what's going on here? And I was like, why is it in French? I'm like, oh, okay, I need to sit and watch. Good.
I went back to see my parents recently, and my dad was like, I can't understand how to get it on the radio. And I was like, Dad, we're gonna have to go in deep on this one to get you on board. But yeah. It's a niche premise, but it's going to be
also award-winning, though.
Yes,
sure.
that's what's going to. Yeah,
not strictly. It's more. It's like a Buzz Aldrin with awards. It's like second place.
Okay.
It's kind of its shtick rather than
second
best.
place in the smartest was it?
In Best New, beat Ed Miliband.
Yeah.
So it's it's
which
fine.
is hard to beat.
Yeah, it's true.
It's hard to beat Ed
His own
Miliband.
brother couldn't beat him. So
Truth.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
Truth. So we're talking today about Ibiza, which is your choice, Eleanor. Elizabeth, I apologise.
We are dressed exactly the same in white t-shirts
And it's
and
the
dungarees.
first two letters of your
It
word.
is close.
Yeah.
My sister's name is Eleanor as well. And we're like really old friends, like best friends, aren't we? We're best friends.
Yeah,
Say
so
that we're best
Elizabeth's
friends.
my best friend.
So it's fine. It's a compliment.
So you chose Ibiza. Can you
I
tell us why
did.
and give us like a 2-minute synopsis?
Okay, you doing a timer?
We're not, but Helen is like meticulous.
Okay.
She's like a metronome.
Right. So I chose Ibiza because, as it's probably obvious, I am obsessed with romantic comedies. And I also chose it because it has Gillian Jacobs in it, is it Gillian?
It's Gillian Jacobs.
Gillian, who I love, not from Community. She's my least favorite character in Community, but I love her from Girls, and also from Love, where she's the star. And I chose Ibiza because it's awesome. The synopsis of the film is Gillian plays a PR person. We all like PR, don't we? She plays a PR person who has to go on a trip, I think, to Barcelona. And while on the trip to Barcelona, her friends decide to come with her, which is always something that happens on work trips. Your friends just decide to show up. And while there, she meets a DJ. They almost get together. They keep almost getting together. But then things kind of get in the way, classic rom-com. But then finally they do get together and there's sex. And it's really, really hot. And it's great because there's not really much sex in romantic comedies, which is really weird and strange. And then I'm going to do the ending. So spoilers, they have to kind of separate again. She gets home. She kind of has had this huge awakening, like a personal awakening after having gone on this trip about who she is as a person, what she wants from her life. He calls her and says, do you want to come meet me in Japan? And she says, no, I've got my own stuff going on. Last time I went to meet you, this time you can come and meet me. And that's how it ends.
The end.
Nice. How do you rate the meet cute in this rom-com?
It's such a good meet cute. It involves UV pens and penis drawings on faces. And what I love about it, though, is that actually is quite ridiculous. But when they actually do meet and talk for the first time, he's the one that falls over, because it's a classic thing in romantic comedies that the woman always falls over and she's really adorable, but he falls over and it's really endearing. But the sexual tension between them is palpable. And I think that's what I love so much about this film, is that you really feel like they just want to have sex with each other from the get-go. And he's just a sweetheart and she's lovely and it's just great. You just totally believe their connection.
Eleanor, what are your thoughts?
didn't totally believe their connection. I don't know. I was kind of interested in him in the tradition of like really hot, but kind of empty vessel leads who just have no defining personality or characteristics. And they have this like deep connection where he's supposed to be kind of freaking out and leaving these long rambling voicemails and is completely in love with her and like wants to sort of fly halfway around the world. But all they've had is this conversation about a dick on her face, which I don't think it's that much of an uptake, because I did notice that he fell over. But also she's already had like dick on the face. So it's kind of, she's already been like, oh, she's a sort of scatty klutz. She doesn't understand what's going on. And he's had to kind of fix it. And it's nice that he fell over. I think all the stuff you're saying about like the fact that there's sex in it and certain aspects where they kind of subvert the plot is fun. But I just, why do they love each other? Why?
They don't love each other. That's what's so great about it. They literally just wanted to fuck.
But it's not, it's so like intense and...
But I think what I would say about him is I understand what you're saying. He's empty vessel, but...
but he's fit.
We've renamed him now.
He is fit. But he... I felt like it was actually quite a realistic representation of what men in music are like. As she says, married to a man in music. Simply because I feel like there's a stereotypical idea that men in music are like rock stars and you just get all the ladies.
Like Calvin Harris.
Exactly. Is that what he's like? Do you speak from experience? Yeah, but then all the men I know in music are just like, I want to fall in love, and they're really sensitive sweethearts, and that it's really, really lonely. And when you do actually find somebody who you can hang out with for longer than 5 minutes when you're exhausted and that you want to spend some time with, you are like, hey, let's meet up as much as possible while I'm in the country. Like I've been on tour with so many session musicians who are lovely, but who, if they find a girl, are just like, oh my God, I've got to meet this girl. I think she's going to come and visit me. She's not going to come and visit you. This isn't going to go anywhere. But it's just that mentality of like, you're only alive for one day in this town. You've got to make the most of it.
I can kind of get that. Do you know the Oasis song Talk Tonight?
No, I don't. Will you sing it for me?
I'm not going to, but I can. I used to be able to play something on the guitar a while ago. Sorry?
You can hum it?
I'm not going to, because copyright.
Sure.
It's a cover. It's fine.
But that was about the band all went on tour to America, and he met this girl in San Francisco. And the band carried on, and of course Liam and Noel had a fight, and he just started off and he went back to this girl, and he wrote it about that going back, like wanting to go and talk to her.
Yes, of course, yeah. I remember that.
So I can see what you're saying, but I can also very much see what Eleanor's saying, that it was they maybe spent 2.5 minutes talking to each other, and I find that a very kind of a really hard, tough premise to work with. Because we were talking about the rom of the first before, and that was awesome because they were talking and moving along. You could just see
they were disagreeing, agreeing, kind of falling out a little bit, coming back to each other.
Yeah.
She also had his mad DJing skills to fall in love with.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we talk about his special DJing move, which I really loved?
Really good.
What was
which
it?
was like hiding behind the desk. And he just did it every time, and it was obviously his special thing. But he'd be like, hide, jump and press play. And that was like why everyone's like, he's a genius, he's an artist. I'm not saying that I wouldn't have found that hot if I was like 17.
I think you'd find it hot if you were in front of the decks. If you could see him behind, like if you were off stage and could see him doing that.
That was the heaven of that first shot where you see him do his special move, where he's like crouching and you can see him, he's like peeking around the desk. So I was like, and so the people at the front must see him like peeking out.
Is he really doing that? That's just an odd thing to do.
Is this not how DJing works? I don't think I've ever seen a show like that before.
Done spates of DJing, but I've just turned up.
You've never done this as a move?
I mean, I've had a dance at the front, but never.
I've just gone like,
I've never done the Heidi thing.
Guys, you guys
maybe
should
that's
try
why
it.
you guys aren't professional DJs.
That's true. We never made it.
Don't do the
Calvin
high.
Harris. I mean, he's a tall guy, so he must have got this move down pat because he must have to get really low. beneath the decks.
Maybe he has
he's
a
got
special
people
little
who press
hole.
the buttons for him now.
Yeah. Well,
He's that
enough,
good.
isn't he? Well,
Calvin
He
Harris
can do
doesn't
with the
even
power
press
of
the
his
buttons.
mind.
Does he not press the buttons? What's he do?
Oh, no.
he-
Did you say he doesn't even press the buttons himself?
Maybe.
No, I
He's saying
don't
he's
think
got a minion.
I think with DJs, this is such a huge generalization. I'm gonna make though.
Lean into it.
I can't remember who the freaking DJ group was, but there was some DJ group where we had the same sound guy as them for a bit. And the sound guy was like, yeah, they basically don't actually DJ. They just like press play on a tape, but they have all of this like stuff that makes it look like they're doing it, which
All show, not all
is
show.
awesome.
The
But a really good, sorry, just to say, a really good DJ in a film, and by really good I mean terrible, is Zac Efron in Kill Your Friends. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I want to watch that.
Oh, you should. It's a nightmare. There's a bit where he explains how you get people to move when you're a DJ because you have to do it to their heart rate. And there's like loads of technical science stuff.
I just realised it wasn't. It wasn't that I was thinking of. There's a TV series based around a living DJ at the moment. I can't remember his name, but it's the James Van Der Beek.
Yeah.
Plays not Tiesto. I can't remember.
What's his name?
We'll think it up. But before we go on to Helen, talking about the falling in love with the DJ, because you had those British guys you met, didn't you? Obviously on
Yes,
Lads on Tour.
on the
Lads
Was
and
it
plane,
Lads.
Humphrey Kerr from the Penny Dreadfuls?
I don't know, babe.
I don't know.
A tall guy from sketch comedy was the awkward guy who kept on.
The awkward guy that
he?
was,
Yeah.
because it was him that was like, oh man, he's the real deal. He's the best DJ ever. I love him.
It's always good when you have to tell the audience that they're good at the art that
Which
they're
is
doing.
weird because they'd seen him jump up from behind the desk. So at this point, they already knew.
We knew.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
on board.
Helen, what were your thoughts on Ibiza and the meet cute? Did you like the
Well,
black light dick in the face?
Well, dick on the face has been done before. Picasso was a big fan of that.
Was he?
Yeah. If you kind of have a look at some of his paintings, the Tate recently had an exhibition of one.
Well, it finishes on the 9th of September. I'm planning to go on the 2nd of August.
He did like to
Put a
slip
dick in the
in
face.
a sneaky penis face. Yes. So it's been done before.
Do you think it was a knowing nod to?
To Picasso,
Yeah.
emulating
Must have been,
Picasso.
yeah.
And the great impressionist. He's not an impressionist, is he? He's a cubist. Carry on.
He's dead.
Sadly, still one of the greatest artists. Anyway, yeah, I mean, Empty Vessel kind of does sum up a lot of things. I wasn't convinced. This is a bad film for feminists all round, I feel. And also it annoyed me that when she meets him, she says how great set. He's like, I've not even started yet. That was the woman before me. And she was like, oh.
That's relatable though.
Yeah, she's just lying to him because he's obviously a
It's not that
bit of a shamble and a mess.
She just doesn't know what's going on. I thought it was better for feminists than some romantic comedies because it doesn't end up with her chasing the guy. It ends up with her being like, hell no, I'm starting my own company and therefore I can't meet you in Japan, which has happened to all women ever.
It's very relatable.
It is.
But its goal up until then is to get the guy.
No, because, well, yes, but isn't that the whole point of a romantic film? That it's about getting the two people to meet. And most of the time, what I liked about it as well was that her two friends, one of them, Vanessa Bayer, hits out of the park. But they spend the whole film saying to her, like, stop trying to chase this guy. Just like live in the moment. It's like Eckhart Tolle, like stay here with us. Enjoy what's going on. Stop worrying about where he is. If it's going to happen, it'll happen.
Yeah, but they did fly to Ibiza to make sure it happened.
Yeah.
Or to be in the moment.
Yeah, but that's romantic, guys. It's. I really feel like you all need to make your own documentary on romantic comedies because I feel like you just don't.
Definitely, the romantic comedy that I make would never be in a situation where I'd be invited to a house party with naked sushi lady and naked pole dance lady. These parties generally don't look like that, where I met guys.
I mean, that did happen in the Sex and the City, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
I didn't go to those parties either.
That wasn't even a party, though.
Yeah, that was just at home.
That was just like a Friday night
Yeah.
for her, probably a Wednesday night,
Yeah.
knowing Samantha.
But I did think that because there was a lot of female nudity for no reason
And-
whatsoever.
Lack of men nudity to balance it out.
Yeah.
But this is the problem because it's a film written by men
Was it
thinking
written by
that
a
they're
guy?
writing what women want to see.
which was breasts.
Yeah, because we want to see.
I did want
Some
to.
women
I
want to see
like to see breasts just because I worry about mine, and I want to check that they're the same as everyone else's.
And also maybe put some sushi over them just to see whether they'd work as sushi plates.
I think I'm with Elizabeth. Like, you know, I don't think it was necessarily a massive blow for feminine, but I wouldn't agree that I think it's like a sort of a film that portrays women badly. I like that they're kind of chasing sex a lot of the time, quite honestly, and that
they're kind of high-fiving when they're like, because when Gillian's character comes back, she meets that meeting, the big meeting she's supposed to meet, and she meets a friend. The first thing a friend says, "Well done getting sex," and they give each other a little high five.
Yeah.
I thought that's quite a funny point. There wasn't that many. I don't think there's many out and out gags in this, but that was a bit I smirked at.
It was nice, and no like agonizing. It was just kind of enjoyable. So rather than, because I think with like a lot of rom-coms, they go immediately to the like while you were sleeping mode, where she's not. Have you guys seen that film?
I can't remember it now.
It's a horror movie, but it's about Sandra Bullock works in a train station, and she falls in love with, I'm going to say all these,
Bill Pullman.
No. But she will later. But she falls in love with this other guy who's like a generic sexy man.
He's Seth
A
Cohen's,
generic sexy man.
Yes.
He's Seth Cohen's dad. He's got eyebrows.
Seth, who's dad?
Seth Cohen from the OC.
Anyway, he falls onto some train tracks and falls into a coma. She's never had a conversation with him. She shows up at the hospital and accidentally convinces people that she is his fiance. And then while he's in a coma, lies to his family that she is engaged to him, falls in love with his brother, Bill Pullman, spoilers, and like tells all these like weird, she looks at his testicles or something. Oh no, she finds out a secret about his testicles and uses that as like a way to show to his family that she's spoken to him. But she's never had a conversation. So I think like in that sort of rom-com premise where you're like, I'm completely in love with someone I've never had a conversation with.
But is that really the benchmark? We're just trying to do better than a crazy testicle lady.
But I think it was all crazy testicle ladies in the 90s. I think this is the like rom-com.
Well, yeah,
stalking was big as romance.
Yeah, basically.
Massively.
It's still
Overboard is like when you think about the story of Overboard, you kind of think that's really bad. That's like that is actually kidnapping.
Yeah. And they chose to remake
and they remade it
because that's the kind of thing we want to remake.
But I think
it makes it fine.
No,
This was another reason why I liked Ibiza, because there wasn't a ridiculous premise. I felt it was completely relatable that, you know, some girl would be like, yeah, let's go and like just see if he's there. Why not? It wasn't like, oh, my parents have employed this woman to come and date me, so I'll move out of their house, and then oops, she's had sex with you while I'm under their employ. So technically they're her pimp. So my parents have paid this woman and she's had sex with me, which is the plot of Failure to Launch.
Oh, okay.
Starring Matthew McConaughey and Sarah Jessica. It's not something that happened to me.
I did wonder where that storyline was going. That would be a big thumbs down if that was pitched to me, that storyline.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not that big a fan of this film, mainly because there wasn't much com. I didn't think it was that funny.
What about Vanessa Bayer?
I mean, she's quite. But I just don't think they popped as well. And
which one was she?
She's the one who pretended to be Mickey at the end.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I don't come with this with any sort of background for the three actresses, but I kind of feel as though they should have been given much better material and that they could have had much more potential to be better characters and just be a bit more fun, which is a shame. I would like to maybe see what they could have done in the outtakes. Maybe
I think
maybe they were
fun.
a bit more.
I think some of for me, I think it was a Judd Apatow produced film, and there is some attempts to like ad lib and stuff like that, which I didn't think really hit the mark in that many places. In the same way that like Bridesmaids did hit the mark in places.
I mean, I was going to mention Bridesmaids in that. That's kind of the benchmark for kind of a female-led comedy film, and that was like 2011.
Has anyone seen Girls Trip?
Yes.
Yeah. How was that?
Great.
Yeah.
It's
wonderful.
Banging. It's really good.
That's one on my list to watch. How does it compare to like Lads on Tour films like The In-Betweeners or Kevin and Perry Go Large?
I don't think I've ever seen Kevin and Perry Go Large.
I really want to watch it.
Have you not seen it either?
All I remember...
I've seen the In-Betweeners one.
Is there a bit where like someone does a poo in the sea and it goes in like Kathy Burke's the face or something. That's like my only memory. I've got
In Between Us.
in Kevin and Perry. I feel like that's the only thing that I know about it. So yeah, it's not like that.
This didn't have the kind of gross out element.
You had the blacklit semen on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but that, I mean,
Potential.
I didn't find that disgusting. I'm aware that men, that their semen is all over the ceilings of every room that I'm in, so that didn't bother me as much. Who actually did write it?
I don't know. Keep talking whilst I find
No,
out.
can you find out? But the thing is, I guess I like it because it does really hit all of the notes of a rom-com, whereas Bridesmaids, as brilliant as that film is, and that is definitely a romantic comedy, but it doesn't, it's more about friendship. And I feel like there's a fear now of how you portray kind of relationships without having it also be about friendship. Or like I Love You Man is a romantic comedy that is about two straight men who become best friends.
So it was written by Lauren Kahn. Who
Yeah,
also,
so I thought it was written by a woman.
Yeah, and then Will Ferrell and Adam McKay were producers on that.
Oh, it's Will Ferrell and McKay,
Yeah.
not Judd Apatow I was thinking of.
But then not director. I don't know who the director is.
So you're still defending it?
I am. Yeah, I completely disagree with everything negative that has been said about it. No, I definitely feel like romantic comedies could be a lot better. Why was it two, straight white people in the role? Like, come on, we've seen that enough. And yeah, I agree that it could have been better in terms of feminism. Sure, we could have taken out the sushi naked lady. To be honest, I'd forgotten about her, and I feel bad about that because that's an actress and she had to tell her parents that was her job. But I still feel like, in terms of, I feel like it got the scores that it got on Metacritic, etc., are way lower than it deserves to get, and I feel like it has been dismissed a little bit unfairly because it's a story about women and romance.
I mean, sort of on the flip side, maybe we could agree on a romantic comedy film that we all like and think is a benchmark.
Can I say one other thing in defense of this? Because I do think, I'm just gonna I think I agree it's not like laugh out loud funny, which is an issue with a comedy, but I think it's got a really like a very realistic vibe between the three friends and the way in which they behave with each other and their dynamic that's quite like gentle and charming. And a lot of the time when they were talking with each other, it kind of rang true in a nice way. So I think that's something it does well.
I can totally believe they're friends.
Oh yeah, I mean, Ellie and I have conversations like they have constantly.
All the time, just putting black lights on every room.
Yeah.
And often in a film, the best thing that kind of carries me through a film is the interplay between the people on the friendship. You can really feel that. I think as friends, they kind of worked out quite well. I thought it was quite sweet that they wanted to go on the business trip with her.
I mean, that actually to me was the most ridiculous
Really?
part. I was like, that would never happen.
But I think sometimes when you forget that like people in America don't travel, and when someone's like going over to
That's
like
true.
Spain, you're like, yeah,
It's quite a long way, isn't
yeah,
it?
I'd actually want to go to Spain. And if you're going to go and you're going to be nobbing about and you're going to have a free hotel room over there, can we go? Kind of thing.
Free holiday.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't like about it actually was the boss character. I felt like that was a real disservice to that lady. She was just such a kind of cartoon. Yes. And just, I hate you and my kids are amazing, which I don't know anyone like that. Who's left their phone on? Probably me.
The one charging under there.
Yes.
So what you were saying, best rom-coms?
Yeah.
Oh, it's got to be Harry Met Sally, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or
Oh, that's pretty high.
Oh, I love Serendipity.
But there's lots of 80s one. There's Say Anything, which is, there's lots of
I mean,
John
actually,
Hughes.
my favourite is probably actually Keeping the Faith.
I don't know that one.
It's the Ed Norton
classic.
Ben Stiller one.
Chef's kiss. You mentioned Say Anything. That is a weird film.
Stalker.
Yeah, Stalker. John Cusack
Bully a woman into
stalker in
being my
so
girlfriend.
many films. He was a stalker in High Fidelity. He was a stalker in Grosse Point Blank. He was a stalker in Say Anything. He was a stalker in American Sweethearts. John Cusack is actually...
He's the creepy romantic guy.
Yeah.
How was he a stalker in High Fidelity?
He turns up at her house when she's living with another guy, calls her and is like, from outside her house, it's like, look, you've got to choose me. That's how
That's
he
a very
talks.
good
Thank you.
And it was raining then as well.
Yeah, and in general, he's just like, how dare you be sleeping with somebody else when he's been sleeping with other people.
I mean, obviously that's a flaw in his character. Stalking.
Yeah, I mean, he is an arsehole.
Yeah.
As his sister rightly
As his sister says, yeah.
calls him.
Yeah.
Eleanor.
I think I'd like to speak up for the classic Sean Patrick Flannery, Sarah Michelle Gellar vehicle, Simply Irresistible, which hinges on a magic crab, which I think is the only. Yeah. She's like a shit chef, and she's got a failing like pastry restaurant or something.
That's correct. Yeah.
And she goes to a market, and a sort of magical man puts a sort of a crab that's alive in her basket, and then the crab just sits in her kitchen and sort of casts its little crabby claw over situations, and then people like float or fall in love or certain things happen. And Sean Patrick Flannery is a paper aeroplane enthusiast who runs a department store, maybe?
Is this a real film?
Yes,
it sounds like it picks off.
It's crazily underrated.
It really is. That I would say also the score on Metacritic does not represent the quality of. They put the crab in a little top hat at the end in a tuxedo. Sorry, what were you going to say?
I remember what I love about that is when Sean Patrick Flannery eats the food that she's made, he has like these orgasmic, but also like very kind of high octane, frantic sort of, oh my God, this is amazing! Which I think
also a very good Sean Patrick Flannery impression. You could do so many voices.
I know. I've been really practicing on them.
So your favourite rom-com, you're the aficionado in this table.
My favourite rom-com, I don't think I could pick, but I would recommend everyone watch Saving Face. That's my current favorite rom-com. It's about a Chinese-American female surgeon who falls in love with a female ballet dancer, and her mother is pregnant and discovers porn, and it's just about how all of that works out for everybody. It's wonderful.
Okay.
Put it on the list.
Well, yeah, I'll put it on the list and definitely get down to it.
And the Magic Crab film.
Simply Irresistible. Don't forget to watch Simply Irresistible.
Yeah.
Right, let's head to the scores.
We're so done with New Year, New You. This year, it's more you on Bumble. More of you shamelessly sending playlists, especially that one filled with show tunes. More of you finding Geminis because you know you always like them. More of you dating with intention because you know what you want. And you know what? We love that for you. Someone else will too. Be more you this year and find them on Bumble.
So these are our wonderful scores on the spreadsheet of dreams.
Elizabeth, you chose the film. Can you lead us out with the recommendability score out of 5 for Ibiza?
Because it's had bad reviews, I'm going to say 5 because it deserves to have its rating bounced up a bit. And I've got a feeling Helen isn't going to be into it.
It needs to get all the points it can.
We do have, we do notice some defensive scoring sometimes when it can, the room.
Which is fine. And also,
can be read.
If you love it, you love it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Eleanor.
I'd probably be quite unlikely to recommend it, but because you're my best friend, Elizabeth, I'm going to give it 3.
What would you have given it if she wasn't your best friend? And also, by the way, you can use decimal points. You can go to decimal points.
I don't.
Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. Our friendship will last.
I'll give it a 3, a 3.1. Now I know that's a possibility.
Patronising.
Helen.
I'm going to give it more than I did have 0 in my mind when I originally came in. Just because you have maybe given it a bit more credit than I saw.
You see, you
worn you down.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. 1.
Yes. I'll take it.
I'm going to say 2, and that's mainly because of Gillian Jacobs for her other stuff.
Just in case she hears that person.
Yeah.
I mean, her name annoyed me. What was her name? She's got one of those stupid names.
I was like Harley. Like
Harper.
Harper.
I've got a surname for my first name.
I'm not going to take mick out people's names. That's not the way to do it. I know it's a character. Repeat viewing score, Eleanor.
So how many times have you?
I would be unlikely to watch it again, I think.
You'd be unlikely to watch it again?
Yeah, I think I'd give it a 0 probably.
Yeah, I mean, I watch everything more than once because I watch so much. But I mean, no, you don't need to watch it again.
Okay.
Got the gist.
Yeah, you get it. I'll give it a 1 just for the sake of it.
So is there no scene in this where you think I'd need to, if that was on YouTube and someone sent me that, but yeah, let's watch that straight away?
I would watch it like when I was making dinner, but I wouldn't like, everybody come round to mine. No, it's not that kind of experience.
Helen?
It's a 0, I'm afraid.
0. I'm going to give it a 1. I don't like giving zeros because that's like that's an ultimate. So I'm going to give it a 1 because who knows? One day I'll watch it again, most possibly. If someone else who wants to watch it, I'll be like, yeah, I'll watch it with you.
Is this still that you're worrying that Jacobs is going to hear this?
Yes.
She's not. She probably will actually.
The problem is that Love has now finished, and that was kind of main attraction to get her in here for a Netflix-related show. Love is now finished.
Yeah, but
I thought you just said that like generally, like
Love
or
is
Love is
ended.
Love
Love
is
is
gone.
ended. TV show Love has finished.
Okay, just to be clear.
Small screen score. This is where I think it might pick up some points. Elizabeth, out of 5, how well do you think it's suited for the TV screen or like the home viewing experience?
I watched it on my phone on a plane.
Oh wow!
Downloaded.
So you downloaded it. So you went. So you prepared. You went to your Netflix on your phone.
Yeah.
For what can I download? And this was one of them.
Yeah, because I had said to my husband, do you want to watch this? And he was like, let me look on Metacritic. Another good impression. And
that is actually what he sounds
like. And he's like, oh no, it's too low. You watch it on your own. So I was like, fine. So we went our way back from our holiday and I watched it on my phone. And of course, as I was watching, he was like, oh my God, is that Rob Stark having sex? And he changes his voice sometimes. So I'm going to say 5.
Eleanor.
I don't know if this would have been easier in a cinema, but I had a lot of issues with the sound mix on it.
Right.
And I really had to ride the fate because I feel like every time they make a joke, they turn the volume up twice as loud. So my personal small screen experience was quite bad. I think I'd give it a 1.3.
Ooh. Helen.
I mean, I was going to give it a 3. It's on Netflix for you to check it out, and yeah, I don't think it needs the cinema treatment.
I'm going to give it 4. Looks fine on the small screen. If I'd seen it in cinema, I probably would have thought I would have been a bit miffed.
It is short though. It is short, isn't it?
It's nice and tight.
No, I'm going to downgrade it slightly to 3.8.
Oh my gosh, what did it lose the 0.2 on?
I don't know, just the feeling I had.
You just knew.
Some kind of vibe. Engagement score. This is where I feel I might lose some points.
So how engaged were you? Looking at your phone? Were you IMDbing? Were you?
Did you watch it many sittings because you couldn't deal with it?
It's hard actually for me to judge because I had nothing else to do on this plane.
Oh, true.
So I was fully in it, which is maybe partly why I loved it so much. But yeah, for the average person who isn't a weirdo, who's obsessed with rom-coms, I'm probably going to say 3.5. I imagine it's the kind of film that you would watch like while also texting your best friend Eleanor.
Whilst on the plane.
Yeah.
Eleanor.
Jeopardizing everyone's lives on that plane. I personally engage very intensely because I take this podcast very seriously. So I gave it a level 5 engagement.
Oh, wow.
But I think probably for an average person watching it, it probably merits like a 2 engagement.
So what do you want?
Yeah, it's not taxing.
Yeah, when they're just like putting up the noisy music, you just pop on Twitter because there's no jokes for a bit. It's just a guy jumping up and down from behind a desk.
But that is the sexiest part of the film, so you don't want to miss that, guys.
So what do you want, 2 or 5, or do you want an average or 3.5?
I'm going to go with 2.
Okay. Helen.
I didn't even get to the sex. I'd lost interest by.
Oh, you dived out.
Well, I had to
See, look at
make lunch.
Can you?
Are you saying you haven't finished this film?
Well, no, it was on.
So you missed that bit whilst you were doing other stuff.
Yeah. Sorry. 0.
Elizabeth's face. So you saw the end.
The credits.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Okay. No, that's fine. Yeah.
For shame.
I had stuff to do.
I'm going to take on some of your points. I was going to give it 1.5, but I think a bit of bolstering. I'll give it 1.75.
There you go.
Hey, that's not too bad.
No, it's fine. It's 1.2.
So you get 2.09 overall, which is by no means the lowest score that we've given.
Great.
What is the lowest score you've ever given?
2.08.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more like 1.7, didn't we establish a while ago?
1.7, 1.9.
Yeah.
For which film?
Arc. Heard of that one?
Oh.
No, that's terrible. In the future, there are no shoes.
That's the whole premise of the movie.
No, but it's
I mean,
point.
yeah.
It seems troubling.
Plot contrivance. Okay, guys. Please tell our listeners where we can find you online, and we'll link to you guys via Twitter and stuff on the show notes.
I am on Instagram.
You can
I'm
find
like, where
Elizabeth
I
on
want
Instagram.
followers.
Okay, Eleanor, where can we find you?
I am also on popular social media sites like Instagram, and Radio Atlas you can find in wherever you get your podcasts. Please subscribe to my subtitled audio documentary podcast. It's very good.
It's legit brilliant. It's changing the face of radio, and I would say
By making it
cinema.
more visual.
Yeah. It's not a film. It's not radio. It's Radio Atlas.
Thank you, Mum.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for coming on the show. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. As always, you can find us on iTunes. Do subscribe and leave us a nice review if you feel like it. You can find us on Twitter at FlixWatcherPod, and the website is flixwatcher.tv. Thanks, as always, to the mighty people for their mighty, mighty tunes, and thanks to Brendan Russell for his awesome editing skills.